Good morning and welcome to Quest Television and Quest 93.1 FM, the station that goes beyond your expectation. Well, today is the 12th day in the month of September in the year 2023. A rainy Tuesday here in Ughelli. Well, I hope you're having a lovely Tuesday as well. With that being said, it is time for us to look into the headlines making the rounds on the dailies. My name is Orikemi Mariam and welcome to the paper review on Quest today. Making a return to the studio this morning are four newspapers. We have The Guardian, we have The Nation, we have The Daily Sun, as well as The Punch newspaper. And it is a full house. With me this morning in the studio is my colleague, the person of Alex Obunaya, and also our admirable famous Quest analyst, the person of Comrade Ife Odomo. Looking all regal this morning. I know. I'm not saying anything about your ordination anymore. But good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. Good morning, the only lady among men.
Well, it's as if though we're not going to do a lot of talking this morning. Comrade, you don't seem to be in the mood somehow. But let's just head straight to the papers. The first paper for review will be The Guardian. And on the front page of The Guardian, the major headline states, cautious optimism as federal government adopts piecemeal negotiation out of $800 million stock funds. That is the major story on the front page of The Guardian this morning. Do also continue that story on page 6. And moving on, we have 78,000 Nigerians die yearly from cancer. Yes, more of that story you can also get on page 6 of The Guardian. Nigeria's microfinance banking dream on brink of failure is making it to page 4. And also 2.9 billion naira NDDC fraud, says aid to ex-MD and 2 others back 6-year jail term. More on that story you can get on page 3. Also, we have end of an era in accounting profession as Akintola Williams bows out. Yes, may his soul rest in peace. But get more details on that on page 6 of The Guardian. And finally, on the front page of The Guardian this morning, it says 7 die and scores injured in Cross River and Benue dispute. Get more details on that on page 8. And that's what you can take on the front page of The Guardian newspaper this morning.
Okay, let's turn our attention to the Punch newspaper. The lead story on the front page of Punch newspaper, Tinubu special investigator falls CBN audited reports. Okay, on your screen, that's the lead story. It comes with riders. Central Bank allegedly pays over 400 million naira to IFRS Academy for accounting guidelines, and DSS to summon FRSC boss, top directors as CBN special investigator deepens probe. And below that story, Obasanjo governors mourn as doyen of accounting Williams dies at 104. You can find that story on pages 3 and 8 of the Punch newspaper. Court remands jealous lover for killing girlfriend. That's on pages 4 and 5. Corruption, biggest hindrance to Nigeria's democratic development. That's according to a global report. The full gist is on page 12. And finally, 2.9 billion naira fraud. Jonathan's got some 2 others jailed for 6 years. That's on page 6. Okay, and finally for you now, above the masthead, operators excited as UAE lifts visa ban on Nigeria. You can read that story on page 18 in case that story tickles your fancy. Okay, that's that from the Punch newspaper. Over to you, Miriam.
All right, the next paper for review this morning is The Nation. And on the front page of The Nation newspaper, the major headline reads, mixed fortunes for APC and PDP and Labour at tribunals. The writers there say Lalong wins senatorial seat. Labour Party reps sacked in Abia. APC and PDP reps saved in Delta. Plateau governor triumphs. Gaya fails to upturn NNPP victory. And the final writer that says Oboriwori heads for Supreme Court. More on that story you can get on page 4 after reading on the front page of The Nation. Varsities to get full financial autonomy. The writer there says education to take budgets 25%. But more on that you can get on page 5. Edo relocates Shaibu's office outside government house. It's making it to page 5. And row between Ogun government and Daniel over Plaza Dippings is also on page 6 of The Nation newspaper this morning. UAE lifts visa restriction on Nigerian travelers. The writer that says Etihad and Emirates flights to resume. More details on that on page 4 after reading on the front page. But on palliatives, we have Borno and Sokoto give out 140 vehicles and others. Quite an interesting one there, Comrade. I can see your reaction.
Yeah, it depends on the type of the vehicles too.
But at least speaking about vehicles, comrade, more of that story you can get on page 3. Also, we have 11 Fiat killed in Plateau. That story you can get on page 27. And also, devastating storm kills 150 in Libya. Wow, that's a sad one there indeed. We'll get more on that story on page 8. Oh well, the picture for the day, we can see President Bola Ahmed Tinubu with the President of the United Arab Emirates, Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, and this picture was taken yesterday. And also, we can also see the picture of the late Akintola Williams, who passed at the age of 104. Well, that's much we can take on the front page of the Nation newspaper.
Okay, quickly, let's look at Daily Sun newspaper. The lead story on its front page is on the Cherry News of visa ban lifted by UAE, and it's captioned, UAE lifts visa ban on Nigerian travelers. Decision taken after parley with Tinubu. That's the rider on that story. The full story is on page 6. PDP knocks Tinubu legal team over PEPT judgment. CTC kicks against federal government's planned Fulani colonies in Benue, urges earlier to reject it. Federal government fled 4.2 billion SCF gas, lost $22.9 billion between 2012 and 2021, says Nostra. Eulogies as Akintola Williams, account legend, dies at 104. Education Minister directs Vice Chancellor to fish out killers of nursing students in Ekiti. You can read up that story on page 27. That's a sad one, a nursing student killed. Edo Deputy Governor Shuaibu moves out of official residence. That's on page 8 of Daily Sun newspaper. And finally, UK Visa Center in Enugu will enhance economic partnership, cultural exchanges. You can get that story on page 6 of the Daily Sun. Okay, that's that for the dailies.
All right, yes, we've taken the major headlines on the front pages of the dailies I mentioned earlier, which is The Guardian, The Nation, The Punch newspaper, as well as the Daily Sun. At this point, we open the phone line so you could call into the show and talk on the matters arising, but do not forget to just stick to the headlines on the front page of the dailies. The numbers to call are on your screen, but on radio, the numbers are 08022 931 931 and 081 88 931. Do also state your name, your location, and then have your say. With that being said, let's take our first call for the day. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, man. Good morning, man.
We can barely hear you. We can barely hear you. Hello?
Okay.
All right, good morning.
Hello?
Yes, good morning. Your name and the location, please.
Mr. Friday, calling from Ezobono.
All right, Mr. Friday, welcome to the show. Please have your say.
Okay. On palliative, Sokoto and Borussia Motors, I think I want to say that is a good one. Let us take how far. We can't continue to be lagging behind. Please, emulate good things. Please, we are lagging behind in everything. Let us be a pace setters. Please, do the same thing to your people. Not only food, do the same thing so that we are lacking from certain things. Mostly, the area of transport, you can make Sokoto and other things. Please. Corruption, intrinsic hindrance to development in the country. That is a very good one. That is the truth. Let us live safe in governance. Let us be selfless. That's my take. Thank you.
Nice. Thank you very much, Mr. Friday. But please keep your reactions coming through as we take your phone calls for now before we move over to Comrade to enlighten us on some of the headlines. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, man.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Henry from Moscow.
Yes.
All right.
NGC, 8 party that to be proved. Now, the truth is that we have to really support you because apart from having the mission right now, we should not do anything. Anything ought to be taking a very good, making effect, good change in the region. So they should be really proved on it. Especially the era of Koshia, Papa, when he was the minister of the 90s. And for all the apartment projects should be looked into too. Then finally, cautious optimism after the government absorbed 15 decisions out of $600 million stock funds. Yes, all these are a negotiation or something. That is where at the end we will still billions of naira at the end. And something will be given back and who will be free. They should look at it very well. So like when we take corruption, when people who are involved are not sanctioned, It's encouraging to corruption. Have a good day, man.
All right. Well, we have to put a halt to the calls for now because it's time. And, comrade, quickly, just talk about, yes, you heard what he said, talking about palliatives in Borno and Sokoto. What's your take to this?
Well, everybody cannot have the same type of palliatives. Well, there are so many ways Delta State can plow their own palliatives and to benefit the people. I think that they should use them to develop the infrastructural facilities and forget all these vehicles. If you are talking of a population of almost 4 million and you are giving 140 vehicles, what does that do to the people? It's just like you throwing a needle into an ocean. How do you retrieve it? You don't even know where it enters, unless of tracing it. We have too many things that are calling for attention that we are supposed to plow these monies into. Electric power supply is there, bad roads are there, no water, nothing. Why don't you use this to build up the communities and let everybody feel the impact instead of just very few people?
Okay, well, I think Alex has a question for you.
There's this story that talks about former President Philip Jonathan's godson involved in financial misappropriation. Of course, Jonathan is somebody we know who is, well, to the best of our knowledge, clean, So how come someone associated with him is not very clean as he is?
I think at times the press want to go a very long way to make money. Somebody commits a crime. Why don't you accuse that person directly? Why are you tying in that he was an aid to this person, he was an aid to that person, he was this to this? Are we not supposed to be on our own, self-dependent in Nigeria? So if I commit crime now, they will not say, okay, and he worked with Quest. Is Quest the one that sent him to commit the crime? Why can't they say, oh, Domo, if he committed so issue? We should start tying this thing to, they are whipping on sentiment for this in our country, Nigeria. And if care is not taken, they will say, okay, because of the former president on this and that, we are not going to look into this, we are not going to look at that secretly before you know it, the man is out of you. Deal with him as an individual, deal with him as a Nigerian, and let him face the consequences of the law. If he is found, or if he erred, not issue of tying it to any VIP. It's not a good issue at all. We should stop those type of gimmicks that will be playing right from 1960.
Well, comrade, you have spoken well today, but we have to log out. My speedy is giving me the signal and telling me we have to log out of this section. But I can't do that without thanking you for being on air with me today. Thank you. Have a lovely day.